Hello and welcome to Intuitive Clarifications with Natasha. And I am here to help you go through your life's journey. And I am so grateful to be here today in this life story about where we're at and what we're going forward. And so some of this show is going to be about how to deal with emotions and how we're going to process through things. So with that I'm trusting that everybody is doing well. I pray, as we're kind of coming into like all these different things. And June here was going to be some big changes for us. And hello, Veronica, and anybody else who's here. And I'm so grateful. But I want you to remember that I'm Natasha Venter. I'm an intuitive medium. I love to support people go through their emotions, their stories, their life's callings and that kind of thing. So with that I'm like in the mazed at how we're all embarking on going through a lot of fear right now. We're embarking on going through a lot of anxiety. We're embarking on going through a lot of things. And, I want to say your truth is your truth. This is about you, helping you go through what you're doing. And like I had a conversation with a friend that they said, and I'm trying to do this with very much integrity as I'm talking about this person, that, they said that, they're so used to failure. They're so used to, misunderstandings. They're so used to being a failure. They're so used to being part of this, like, I don't know how to go forward. I'm not used to success, in other words. I'm not used to having successful moments. And I know for me, I even struggled with that a little bit too, like when I was on the next level soul. And, it was like, and then all of a sudden I had all these clients that came in because they saw me and trusted me. Well, that's the story, right? That's the part of it. And, I had to tell myself at that time, well, you asked for this, Natasha, enjoy it while it's here. And I did. I really enjoyed it while it was here. And even though I got a little tired, even though I had a little bit of, self-sabotage, and that's the thing is self-sabotage is real, right? That self-sabotage is so real about how to do things. And I even myself sometimes have to say, Natasha, do the email. It'll take you 10 minutes. Get it done. And I know I'm not perfect at it. I struggle with emails. I struggle with a lot of things. And like that. And it's just one of those dances that we all are something that we struggle with trying to get back to. And I know a lot of us are ADHD right now, that moment of, or ADD, or, it's like you're just hyperactive and all that kind of thing. And I had a show on it last week. I think I did it. Seems like the last couple weeks have been so crazy. And I know that, like, I was called in to do jury duty. I had a personal day on Monday. So, like, even me wanting to lay in bed on my personal day, right? Well, my neighbor called up and said, Natasha, do you mind taking, so and so to school with you? And I said, well, I'm having a personal day. And she said, well, I really need to be at school by 7:30 so we can go down and on this field trip. And I went, a day off, I have to get up before 7:30. You're talking to a non-morning person here, right? But I did, because that's why I am. I am a kind person. And I wanted to say, hey, can you talk to, drop them off at a friend's house? And I know that there's some mutual people that we know. And I didn't say that, right? But I did it anyways. Well, after I stayed up talking with him, which I was grateful for, I love spending time with the kids that I know. And, and so after he left, I went and laid in bed for a few minutes just to get my body to say, okay, you had your time. And then I got up and I had lunch with my kid. And then I went to negotiations because I'm doing negotiations with our school. And I'm part of that contract overriding. And so with that it was kind of an interesting day, that even though it was my personal day, I didn't have a personal day. I had a day where I was doing things. But even then, like, this is what was interesting. And I did this on a video the other day. It was about how, like, even my talking with my kid about some things that, I did when I was a couple of years ago, I was really struggling with some old patterns. And even though I was negotiate them, but I still had this old pattern of like, you know how you feel like you're in a rabbit hole and you know how to get out of it. You wonder how you got there. You really truly wondered how you got there. But yet you know how you got there. You really know how you got there. You knew the cause and effect of how you got there. But you wondered, why am I still here? I've done a lot of the work to get there, but then I haven't necessarily changed the pattern of what the cause and effect part of it, right? And like my kid said, he drew me a scale. It's like, he's into those scales. And so it was kind of like let me see if I can do it. Kind of like this, right? And then he said that there's this curve, Mom, that, there's a curve where you're not making any action. And then all of a sudden you're going down and making an action, right? He says, Mom, you're right here, right before you make the dip to go down. I went, oh, I get it. And my kid has this wonderful saying, your past self didn't treat you very well, so your now self is struggling with what the reality is. So what you're doing right now, Mom, is you're making better plans for your now self so your future self can be more and rewarded. Isn't that a statement? And like the other day, or like he was saying, that, when they were trying to get down some decorations, and he's skinny enough and, small enough that he can get up into the attic of where he lives with a friend. And he went, you know what? My past self knew what my future self needed, and we organized the boxes just right. So it worked out well because it was easy to grab. He was able to get them out. So, it's like this is the time in our life right now that we're really negotiating our now self. We're in this moment where our past self is kind of coming up and biting us in the butt, and for our future self to be successful. And so right now we're in that cuspus. We're in that moment at the 50-yard mark. Are we going to make the touchdown on the other side? Right? Can we make the touchdown on the other side? And it's about compromise. Because me being in negotiations with our school district, it's all about compromise. Well, I'm willing to give this and I'm willing to get that, right? It's that dance of compromise. And I'm so grateful for that compromise because sometimes it's a win-win for everybody. But what we have to be willing to do is do the work to get there. And I know for me, I don't want to call it work anymore. I do not want to call it work anymore. It's my calling. It's my knowing. I'm meant to do this. I'm meant to go forward in this. I'm meant to be who I'm meant to be. And I'm willing to do that shadow work, that underside work, that under the table work, that, get the phone calls done, the emails done, the talking to scenario done. And it's like we got to figure out where and what it is. And like I need to be vulnerable sometimes with myself and be willing to say, you know what, it's kind of scary. This is triggering some anxiety. This is, what am I supposed to do with this if it does succeed? I have this vision of what it's going to be. I know I have this vision, right? I have this understanding that it's going to be this way, but I have to get from, if you're counting from 1 to 10 in the journey and you're at number 7 in your journey mark, you still have 3 to get to 10 to get to that success. And those are sometimes the hardest steps to get to, right? Those are the hardest steps to do is your 7 to 10, if 10 is successfulness. And success is always a moving thing. It's always a journey. It's always elusive. It's always, moving. And success could be just a spot on the journey of life. It doesn't have to be the end story, right? The journey of success doesn't have to be the end story, but it's part of that leaping. And I know for me, like last year at this time, I was on the Next Level Soul and it got revisited. I was so grateful that it got reposted just not too long ago. And I was riding that ride and now it's kind of coming to a slower part of it, but there's something that's stirred up in this. And I know for me that, like there's this one person that has been on my social media. I'm sorry, Miss Hunt is her name. Ellen Hunt or something like that. Excuse me. And, like, she was one that really was able to, like, she won, I don't know how many different, uh, uh, what do you call when you scratch the things, the lottery. She's won a lot of lotteries. She won a house. She did all these things. She got all these because she saw herself doing it. She was in alignment to do it. So I'm trying to do that too right now. Take the word trying out. I am doing it. So anytime I think about something, instead of thinking about calling it in like I don't have it, I'm calling in like I already have it. I have the money to pay off all my bills. I'm I have it. I have it. Now, the cause and effect of it hasn't happened yet. But I was talking to a teacher today, and she asked me, do you see me being able to come back? And I said, well, you know what I see right now is this giant big if, the if sign. And I said that it was huge. I mean, it's taller than me. It's like 10 feet tall. If it doesn't work, it's not personal. It's just the reaction of it. Like there's somebody with more seniority that got it or something like that. But everybody knows she's doing a great job. She's a great teacher. She knows what she's doing. She's able to negotiate it, right? She's just an amazing person. So that big if. What if it doesn't work? It's big. If. It's not personal if it doesn't work. Right? Now, if it is personal, it's because we sabotage ourselves. Right? We sabotaged who we are. We sabotaged by playing on, these games, right? Instead of getting up and doing a video or sitting on the couch. Now, one thing that my husband cannot say, I haven't sat on the couch. I have not sat on the couch. I know yesterday that I was out of the house by 8 o'clock, did, jury duty. Oh gosh, that jury duty. I learned a lot there. So I'm going to go back and visit that. Jury duty, then there's a retirement party for a good friend of mine at school. And then I picked up my husband and we went shopping until 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night. And so I didn't really get home. And so it was like, ay, 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 ay. But the one thing that I did learn observing myself during that jury duty. Now, I can't say too much because it's confidential, but I can say that, because it will be in the paper. So there's a little bit of logistics here, that he was up for murder. Right? He was up for murder. But in my intuition, and that's a thing that a lot of people are starting to get more intuitive feelings. That's going to cause the anxiety sometimes because you're seeing things that can happen, that have happened, may not have happened, right? You get that tingling, right? And so in that intuitional moment, because I've just been growing and changing, and it's like, the knowings that I've had. But I'm sitting there witnessing him. And there's a time in our court system, at least here in Washington, that you have a chance to, everybody sits down, the 60 of us sit down. And if you're having something that you cannot do the 3 weeks of doing this, that, you can put your name up or your number up because you're numbers. And it's not unpersonal. It's just easier. Number 6 can do this. Number 7 did this, said this. Number 8 said that. 10 said that for the court reporter. So it's just easier to have numbers. I get that. I sat there and it's like, I have negotiations. The last 2 weeks of school, I have a wedding at the end of this month here that's happening. I have family coming in, all these different things that are happening, right? Why was I hesitating putting my number up? And even the past superintendent looked at me because the superintendent that we used to have was not right next to me, but 2 down. And he goes, why didn't you put your number up? You're crazy. Why didn't you? And I'm like sitting here going, I don't know what I didn't. Something was stopping me, right? Well, what I ended up doing was, as I was sitting there and going through this process now, because I passed my time up to say something. There's a small little time when I could have said something else, but I didn't. well, I'm nice, and I figured if I'm meant to be there, I'm gonna be there, right? No matter what my life is, I'm meant to do what I'm meant to do because the universe puts me in places where I'm meant to go, right? So going into this, that I as I was sitting there, I got a hit on the person who was up for trial. A little emotional in my yesterday's movie video because about posting about the show because it's really interesting to witness somebody intuitively where their past self got them in their position now, made mistakes, wasn't all his fault that I saw. Yet there's this cause and effect that he was up for murder. So in that intuitional moment, and this is something that's embarking, I've always asked in my intuition that I don't get to see the blood and guts. I've just put that, and that's one thing I want to let you know. You can have boundaries with your intuition. You don't need to see everything. You can see enough. 24 hours later, it's still with me, right? I saw enough. You can see enough to get the impact so you can learn what you need to do. And then but yet you can have boundaries. Like, I didn't wanna see what happened to him the friend or whoever. I'm just assuming the friend, using quotation marks, right? That, whatever happened, you know, I don't need to see the gut, the ick. I don't need to see the really trauma. I don't need to see that split second that something happens, right? Because that's something. So put boundaries up. If you're getting intuitionally involved with yourself and you're really starting to see things, put boundaries up. Ask your guides. I do not need your third eye, your higher self. I do not need to see those things. Give me enough information that I get the information. I do not need to see everything. You can say that. You can engage that. So please put that. You can have boundaries around your intuition. Now, remembering boundaries may close up a door for another thing. And so if you're looking at your intuition, remember that if you're asking not to see everything, there might be something that you're meant to see. So then add on the disclosure. Thank you. My guides just downloaded this to me, this information. Remember to say, unless it's something that is so pertinent to the story that it's going to help that person out. And then help me negotiate it after that fact. Because now I realize, because I did not get on jury duty when they were calling up, I was number 8. Number 8, you are excused because I was not a good fit for the lawyers, right? Because there was something that they asked me and I got a little emotional about it. So I got personal, and they don't want personalness in this. They want people to be able to detach. So my team, because I asked, get me out of this. If I'm not meant to be here, get me out of this. I was telling my team, get me out of this. And so I was emotional at that moment because it was talking about alcohol. It was talking about guns, and it was talking about cars. A lot of past story here. Now, I don't have a lot of guns in my story, but yet there's a lot of that. And for some reason, the energy that was yesterday for me, I don't know. I know that a lot of people are feeling this, that I was like, I almost felt like my husband um, was doing a dry drunk. And not that he was doing a dry drunk, but he sorry, I just had somebody call me that that it was a moment where, I was getting a lot of those emotions. Why am I getting emotions when I'm feeling safer than I've ever felt? You know? And so there's a lot of this old story, this old anxiety that is coming forward in who we are and what we're doing. And in that anxiety and in that story, it hit me emotionally. Well, what did that emotion do? Cause and effect. It probably got me out of doing court. Now, I wouldn't have mind being there, but it would have been really hard on me. I couldn't have detached from a lot of it, especially after I could not shut my intuition off. I could not. Usually I can kind of shut it off a little bit, but I couldn't. And I know now today, 24 hours later, why. I'm supposed to pray about it. I'm supposed to pray. I'm supposed to bring in the angels. I'm supposed to be the physical aspect of in that room. I held eyes with that young man for just a few minutes, a few seconds actually. It felt like minutes, but it was seconds. And there's something compassion that he was needing. So what am I going to do now? I'm going to hold him with a lot of love. I'm going to hold him with a lot of understanding. I'm going to hold him with some balance and gifts and wisdom. I'm going to ask the angels to do the better for him and for all around. Because I know that all sides lost. There's a lot of sides that lost in this moment of this interaction and cause and effect. So sometimes we walk through something. Sometimes we walk through something so that we can be the light. So if you're one of those light holders, which I know that there's several of you watching that are light holders, that when we are meant to hold light for something, sometimes we have to witness something. And if we can, yeah, thank you, Veronica. It is a tough one, but I understand toughness. I persevered through it. Now, today I was a little discombobulated. My dyslexia was a little triggered too, so it was a little bit of an interesting story. So going into this, that we have a lot of knowings that are happening, that for a reason. It's all we can really do to find that lovingness for somebody around us, because right now a lot of us are working through our old stories, and a lot of us are really finding out that we have these more what's the word our anxiety a lot of times is our cat whiskers, I call them. You know how cats know? It's their senses around them, right? That senses around them, that as they're going forward into who they are and what they're doing, that that in our intuition, our anxiety gets tapped because we're feeling things. We're feeling things that we really don't know what we're feeling, because sometimes it's not our own feelings. Now, I know that sitting in court, I was tired. That's tiring when you're doing something. You're sitting on a bench, that's tiring. You're dealing with language that you don't understand, that's tiring. It's like there's these things that are tiring, but there's something that was like so moving for me yesterday because my intuition. Now, I was told to stop by our local co-op, and I got a rock and I got fluorite. So fluorite is, and I don't have it with me, it's in my purse. Fluorite is a stone that helps with chaos. It brings in your intuition. It brings out mental clarity. It helps with, let me see if I have some really close here that I can grab. Fluorite, where are you? Do I have around here? And it's usually like a kaleidoscope of colors. It's greens, blues, purples. It's I know I have fluorite around here. Where are you? I have enough things around here. You would think I would have enough stones around here, right? But coming into this, that I was told to get fluorite. I didn't know what stone when I went to the co-op, but I bought up, and I trusted where I was guided, and I went for it. And in that fluorite moment, that it really helped me settle myself down. And then being a little ADHD, and not being able to do my normal little skills, I was able to play with it a little bit, and that helped to balance me a little bit more. And so, when we're going forward in our life, remembering that we get these callings. So if you're meant to go to a store, if you're meant to, hello, Paula, thank you for being here. When you're meant to, and anybody else who's showing up, thank you for being here. That, when you're meant to be doing something, you'll get this tickle. And yes, anxiety is going to be tapped into it because hi, Kim, thank you. It sounds like a pretty stone. Yeah, it really is. And I know I have one around here that I can reach, but I'm not seeing fluorite. Gosh, come on. I know I have. Just a second. I just saw it. I just saw it. See, I knew I had it, but I moved it from where I was. So fluorite has this and I know this is not good lighting, but this one's more of a green tone, but others can have a little bit more, but you can kind of see a little bit of the purple here, and this is clear. So it's a stone that exactly. It makes you breathe. It slows you down. It gives you hope. It gives you heart. It gives you a lot of understanding. And this one has a little felt on the bottom. Not too happy about that, but I don't want to try to get the glue off of it. Um, and it's not saying it wants it off too much here. Yeah, I'm not going to worry about it. So going into this, that the stone really helps bring in some understanding. Now this one is half cut and half rough. Now, rough stones have a little bit different energy than a cut stone. Like a cut stone, polished stone will have different energies than the rough stone. And so you might get a different energy that is like this. So, and different cuts of stones represent different things. So if you have this kind of stone here, it's like an oval. So the energy goes all the way around, but it's more prone to have it coming up and around. It's more like our aura. So it's more like this energy, right? And then this one has it where it's like an edge. So people might use it as a bookmark, right? And yeah, it could be, but there again is that it has a calmness on this side, right? It has a calmness on this side, but this side has a little bit more let's get to work feeling, right? You prefer raw. Yeah. Funny. I was a rock hounding raw fluorite by the railroad tracks yesterday. I prefer raw. Yeah. And I agree. I, in a way, prefer raw too myself. But there's sometimes, they just like to come as they are with you. And I've had these stones that just say, come see me, be with me, right? Come and be with me. I have a lot of raw and I have a lot of cut. And some of mine are kind of like this, but some of mine are more balls. They're more like, the balls, because if you hold them, their energy goes all the way around, right? So, as you're going forward, that the stone will be the it depends on what it is for you. Now, this stone here is very powerful for me. I have it with me a lot when I'm channeling. I have it a lot with me because there's something about this stone that centers me. Now, fluorite the other day was a raw piece. It was a lot like this, and so it was nice for my fingers to rub on it and negotiate it. And so, be where you want to be. Now, raw has more of the earth energy, where cut has a little bit more, it's the intention of the person who's cutting. So I'm getting off track here with the stones, but at the same time though, each stone has its own intention. Now you can read in a book, what does a stone do? Right? But actually, it's going to talk with you. It's going to be with you. It's going to give you what it wants to give you because your energy with this stone. Now, somebody else can hold this stone, this heart stone, clear crystal stone. Somebody else can hold the stone and get something out of it that's different than me. And somebody can hold it and actually shatter it because their energy is so if you have a stone that is very pertinent for you, like I have my personal stones that nobody else is allowed to touch because they are mine. So going into that, but there's a lot of every stone's going to help you ground yourself. Every stone's going to help you negotiate. Every stone's going to be what it's supposed to be. Now I'm not equipped to being a pro at stones, but I know like calcite. Whew, it's the most people don't give it credit for who it is and what it is. And people don't really understand that it is like such a powerful stone. And some stones are just so calm that even me holding this stone like this, it doesn't necessarily make big movements, but it's almost like a soft wave coming through me, right? It's a soft stone. Now, this one, when I pick it up, it's a little more like, let's get to work. Let's do what we need to do. So Paula says, I would use points for healing because you can point the energy. Exactly. So like if you want to get to something, this point is about, and that's what I was saying about the fluorite being at point, it's like it's making a point to get to where we need to go. It's about breaking it open. It's about let's split it in half and let's get to work. So you can use points to negotiate, just like if you're doing some Reiki, putting like the stone, because the calcite, it has a flat end to it. For those that are listening on the podcast later, the calcite has a flat point or flat base that if you put that on a spot like your knee, it's going to come in there. If you wanted a little bit more centered, you'd want to do the point of the roundness of the top. So yeah, stones have different ways. So trust your intuition on what stone wants to come to you. Like if you're at a gemstone place where they have like 15 rocks and you're going, I'm overwhelmed. Well, just ask, body, eyes, guide me to the one that I need. And if you scan it and you settle on one stone, then you're going to be getting it. I mean, then and then pick it up. And if it jumps out of your hand, then think that stone won't work. Now, in the fluorite that I picked the other day, there was 15, 20 stones. And I picked up one and I went backwards and I went, no. Picked up another one and went, yes. It's like, and the first one I picked up, it was the one that I needed. It was the one that wanted to go with me because it knew it's like the puppy coming home. It's the kitten that comes home with you, right? It's that energy field that comes home with you. And I'm telling you that I may put it down here in another month and not even touch it. But right now, that stone, it's getting me through it, right? It's getting me through it. So you never know what stone. I picked this up 5 years ago. It's been sitting on a shelf. All of a sudden, it's in my workspace and it's being used. So sometimes you get these things that come to you. So that's your intuition. A lot of times is you wonder why you pick something up because it was called to be picked up. And all of a sudden, you're like going, why do I have this? And then you move it to another room and you go, oh, that's why I have it. Or somebody comes to the house or somebody comes to you and you go, like I almost picked up 2 stones for another person who had a lot of ADHD, and she was but I was like, no, she wouldn't be interested in this because I tried having a conversation with her earlier because we're both doing stairs in our breaks. And, because it's like I wasn't going to sit back down again. I knew that I needed to get up moving. So I did stairs as I was in the courthouse, and she was doing stairs too. But she wasn't quite in that vibration. She was still in this is how I'm negotiating my ADHD. I need to be listening to a podcast, doing stairs, and fidgeting at the same time. Because remembering that sometimes when we're not willing to settle into ourselves. And that's one thing I've gotten to with my ADHD. I'm willing to go into the uncomfortable, to sit through the uncomfortableness, to find out why I'm agitated in the moment. Because sitting quiet a lot of times is not safe. It is not a safe place. But there again, getting back to where are we working through right now? We're working through a lot of our old story. We're working through a lot of our old story. And like I was saying, my friend said that she's not used to success. She's used to failure. She's used to trauma. She's used to all these different things that are happening, that used to happen to her, right? Used to not having money, used to living on the streets sometimes, used to doing things, okay? But now she's finding that they are in success. Finding out that there can be success. Ooh, that's a different vibration. That's a different understanding. That's a different mindset. That's a different feeling in the body. That's something different in the nervous system. That's something different in the heart system, the digestive system. Ooh. How many of you are feeling like your digestive system is off? Mine has been off too, but I've been doing ibuprofen. I've been doing a lot of different, making sure that a lot of things are coming. I'm getting, getting myself cleaned out a little bit. So that's my intention. So my gut has been a little bit off, but also too, I'm going through a lot of things, like talking with the HR person about what my area of school, while we're redoing our contracts, is being negotiated, and I'm a voice for it. So I'm having to trust that part of me. I'm having to trust that part of me that doesn't know everything. And like I gave some information the other day that I couldn't get, that somebody else got for me. And I gave it to them and they go, "Well, what classification is this? How do you know where this pay comes from?" I go, "I don't know. I didn't get the information because I couldn't find it. So I asked somebody else to help me out. And this is their information." And I thanked the person who got it. And what ended up happening, because remembering a moment is not the journey. The moment that we interact with something is not the journey. So instead of going into trauma, going into old story of I didn't do right, going into a lot of different things, I told myself, okay, we don't know the outcome yet. And that's the word that's been coming out of my mouth a lot. We don't know the outcome yet. We don't know the outcome yet. So what did I find out? That the resource person found out that a lot of districts are paying their paras to do the job that we do, and they're getting paid at the para rate. We've been paid $3 less than the para rate. And he's like going, "Wow, we'll just pay you we actually got a raise. The better outcome for it. I didn't have to struggle with it. He gave me the information. He gave me the okay. I didn't have to negotiate anything because I trusted the process." And that's one thing sitting in court yesterday, that, I didn't raise my thing at the beginning, right? I didn't raise my number 8, infinity. Infinity, as above, as below, as above, as below, as above, as below, right? The in, the out. What am I feeling like? My past self didn't set my now self up for success, but now my now self is going to set my future self up for success. The figure 8, the point in the middle of the 8. I'm getting downloads as I'm talking here, right? So that infinity sign, sometimes we're the point of the 8. We're not up, we're not down, we're in the middle. And that's where we're at right now. We're figuring out how to go. We're figuring out what to do, right? So if you can have an understanding that when you get into anxiety, when you get into that moment where you just don't know where to go, what to do, who to be, what to do, remembering you don't know yet what the outcome is. Because as I was asking my guides, I'm not the meant to be here. They get me out of here. Get me out of here. And I had to trust the process. I had to trust that process because I know. Thank you, Kim, for saying good for me. It's like I'm just as human as everybody else. I go through things just as everybody else. I just have an understanding that may be a little different than somebody else because I've have my intuition that is like, and then like there's been some stories about dyslexic people lately. I'm just going to say that we use more parts of our brain than people who just do spelling and that kind of stuff. I've known that because I witness life a whole differently than somebody who's standing next to me. My husband's very lethargic, he's very logistic. 2 + 2 = 4. Yeah, 2 + 2 = 4. But you can also make 4 in a different way, right? 1 + 3, 0 + 4, a lot of different ways. And so there's that gray area. And are you talking about 0.4? Are you talking about 4? Are you talking about 400? It's like there's a lot of things that you can think of, right? That's my brain. It thinks of a lot of different things. Now, I may lose because I'm thinking about everything. I may lose the sentence in front of me. I may lose the conversation that's in front of me because I'm thinking about a lot of different things. So, as you go forward, that as your intuition is growing, remember, have boundaries, especially if you're not quite ready yet to see everything and know everything. Thing is, though, remembering boundaries will have a cause and effect. So be careful about how you put a brick border around your boundaries. Check in with your boundaries in about a month after you wake up a little bit more with your intuition. And if you can, right now, trust where you're at. Trust what you're doing because you don't know yet where things are going to lead you. Right? You don't know yet where things are going to lead you. Like I had a teacher that got notification she didn't have work. I said, you don't know all the information yet. And she's in a position that she doesn't like right now, but it's a job. She doesn't like all the, I said, you don't know I have all the information yet. Well, a couple days later, got notification that she had the job back that she has now. Oh, I got a job. Didn't know all the information yet. Now she may not get the position that she really wants yet. So believe in yourself. And thank you. You got that right. Thank you, Paula, for knowing that. It's a moment. Okay, so I'm at the 45 here. Time is ticking on. I didn't know really what I was going to talk about today, but I wanted to kind of bring up some understanding. So I'm checking in to see who wants to be channeled today. Jesus wants to come in. Talk about change. He knows when to talk about change, doesn't he? Okay, so give me a chance to get grounded here and get centered in who I am. Okay. No, so remember when I channel, please listen. If you don't believe me channeling, just listen to the message, the words, because even now I'm channeling. So, like I was saying, I'm getting downloads as we're talking about that. Like me having the 8 sign. Woohoo! The infinity sign as I'm sitting in court. Ain't that a moment? Right? Ain't that a moment? There's no accidents. So as I'm channeling, remember that if I don't channel and you don't believe in channeling, I can understand and honor you for that. Please remember that your belief is your belief, your truth is your truth, and I want to honor you for where you're at. But as I channel, these messages will come through and my voice might change. I close my eyes so there's less distractions. I love how Bouchard said that, and they do come through my mind, so some of the language might be the same. Okay. But Jesus is one that he's not about religion, he's about love. And that's the honor that I want to give. So thank you. Okay, so. Oh, dear ones, you have come through a lot in your life, haven't you? You have come into an understanding of yourself deeper than a lot of people on this planet. There's been many shifts and changes on this planet through the years that humans have been here. And as you've gone through this, there has been never this bigger part of the spiritual awakening that you have had on this planet. There have been many civilizations that have come to these climaxes of understanding. But as a world as one, as technology gives you a chance to be all as one, that you have come into this understanding of yourselves and others. That is breaking down a lot of the walls and understandings of logistically things that are happening. And I love the way she says that word. So as this dear one was in the court system, the old way of moving, it was interesting to see how personalities were in there. And I will speak of these because I was with her that day. That there was this courtroom spokesman. He was the one that told the jurors of what was going to happen. And he was funny. He had this spark about him. And there was another court person who she was in the same place. And they had this little playfulness with each other. Even though they were not husband and wife, they were still friendly with each other because they trusted that playfulness. And the whole courtroom, the persons who did all the logistics of the courtroom, she types in the information, recorder person, and the judge, and there was 2 other women in the room, that they all had smiles on their faces because of this one man doing what he did and was willing to venture out to be comfortable, to be himself, to honor who he was. That is what we are asking you, the humans that are on this planet right now, to do, is to enjoy yourself more with smiles. Enjoy yourself as you go forward. Have moments where you have laughter or giggles or lightness. Many who are struggling with depression or the depressed feeling of themselves or that anxiety that is now labeled, which is actually energy flowing through you, readying you for a new movement. That's what anxiety is. It's part of you ready to move into this new knowing of yourself. Trusting who you are and what you're doing is part of this movement. You are coming into a new understanding of yourselves, which will be causing this new energy flowing through you. Please be kind to yourself as you step into what you would recognize as the language of anxiety. But relabel it, please. Relabel it to, I wonder what's coming next. I wonder what's next in my life. I'm wondering who I'm meant to be next. I'm wondering what's coming into my life next. Have a wonderment with it, and you will receive some guidance to get through it. Like this dear one has been making some statements of already having it. And she's added on, because we reminded her of this, to show her the path to receive it. We forget that that is part of the connection. When you are manifesting, when you are saying that you already have it, and it's elusive to you, remember to ask, how are you to receive it? Because it is part of the journey. Sometimes it's one step over to another timeline. Sometimes it's another step over to another dimensional shift. The realities that you are in right now are shifting greatly. That is why you're struggling so much with some of the places. That's why sometimes you are tired and you don't know why you're so tired. This dear one did a good job. She took double her adrenal medicine today. She did some zinc and some vitamin B and the B12 and a lot of that energy at the beginning of the day when she felt so low. Because yesterday was a stress for her. Seeing what that dear soul went through because he was not willing to learn and witness his life to do better. It hurt to see it. And that is okay, because now she's putting love around it for him, where he struggles with that self-love. We are stepping people into moments where they are finding, that is why I'm here now. So please trust that process. And dear ones that are watching this now and listening later and watching later, remember that I, Jesus, Jose, is here for you, believing in who you are. I love you. You are amazing in your life's journey right now. So be where you need to be, which is right where you're at. Because your now self, your now self is amazing. I am sending love to this planet, as there's a lot of my old home that is being blown up right now because of human conflict. Human conflict has been a part of this planet for many generations and millions of years. Conflict has been part of the human story. Ooh, look at that word in your life personally. Where is conflict for you to not be successfulness? Where is conflict coming into your self-thoughts to not honor who you are today? Where is conflict coming into your language that you're losing for yourself and others? Where is conflict coming in where there is struggle, which is meant to happen for just personal growth? No conflict to struggle. Struggle is a thought pattern with struggle. Conflict is a mindset that comes with struggle. You don't need to have conflict when you have struggle. Walk with struggle. It's okay. Find out where conflict is happening when it's not in alignment with your path. Maybe you are wanting something, but there's conflict around you accomplishing it. Well, check in, ask the questions. Is this the right time for me? Is this the right understanding I have mentally for this? is that the moment where I need to trust beyond my life's ever trusting before. We are asking you to trust beyond what you have before. Trust in yourself, trust in the universe, trust in you, trust in me, trust in the world around you, and trust in the ones that you believe in. We have you. We've got you. We will come to you when there is the calling to happen. You are blessed, my friends, my family, my sisters and brothers. You are blessed. My love is with you. Whew. Well, thank you for being here. Ask him about an hour ago to come. He will. That's funny. That's funny that you asked him to come and here he is. See? See? There's an answer for you, my dear friend. I love that, Paula. Yeah. Thank you, Kim, for saying that. Yes. Yes. Yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. I didn't know who I was going to channel. I was going to trust. I was going to trust. So please remember, right now, we're in the middle of the figure 8. We're not above and we're not below. We're in the middle. Your past self is here for your now self to learn so your future self can move forward. So if you turn that 8 to the side. Ooh, and then you know what? I was watching a car race with my husband and it was the figure 8 race. Makes you wonder, really. Makes you wonder how the universe is syncing up for us, right? I told him it has been a minute and his mom comes all the time. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Okay, so I'm going to pull some cards real quick. So if you want an oracle card, please just say yes. I know Veronica and Paula usually like a card, so I'm going to do that. You know, I ate something that I got these little cuts around my mouth, and it's been interesting negotiating them. Makes you go, Talk about, woo! Okay, Paula. Hi, Diane. Okay, so, Paula, this was for you. So, get the bigger vision. Get the bigger vision because we all are here. Because the mystery is here because you're not the novice anymore. You're growing out of the novice area, but you have to walk through the mystery of what's to come because the greater vision hasn't reached you yet. So that sentence is going back and forth, isn't it? The figure 8 again, right? So you're getting the bigger vision because you've got greater knowing to get you through the mystery of life because you're done being the novice. The novice part of you is asking you to trust the mystery because you are getting the greater vision. I hope that makes sense, Paula. You're doing amazing work. Okay, Veronica. This one's for you. Okay. And I thank you for the message. I would love one. Yes. Okay. So, yes. Okay. So this one's for Veronica. You got the novice card too. And the bard. So these can be interchangeable, my dear. And the novice dropped. So the novice card, it's about innocence, beginner, ignorance, new skills without practice, unstable curiosity. So, but remembering as the novice stands here, standing here with strength, right? Even though the wind is blowing, because it's time for you to sing your own magic. It's time to sing your own story. You've been doing really good, Veronica, doing this. You've been really good at trusting yourself. You've been really good at understanding yourself. It's time to really understand that it's time for you to sing your own song. Now, the timing of this is going to be elusive a little bit for you for a while. But the thing is, though, start practicing singing your own song like you've been doing, because you're done being the novice. Okay? Jesus showing up was help to confirm that message. Exactly. Okay, so now this one is for Diane. Looks like we have to get after it. LOL. Thanks. You're more than welcome. Okay, so this one is for who asked next for cards? It was Paula, Veronica, and then Diane. Diane. Thank you for woo! Cards are dropping. Letting go. You're letting go of a lot of old story. You're letting go a lot of your life story. And it's time to trust that, I'm really getting this year of the snake thing. It's the Chinese year of the snake, and it's about shedding our skin. It's about getting a new vision. Because what does a snake have to do when they're shedding their skin and they can't see when their eyes are covered, right? It's about getting that new vision. It's about getting that new understanding. It's about relieving yourself of your old story. It's about trusting that path that you're going into, because I want to get some clarity here. Okay. So what's the story about this letting go piece? Oh, this card wants to come. Oh, 2 cards came. It's about getting that bigger vision of trusting. And I think that story that I said about my friend, if you weren't here to listen to it, about my friend going through the fear and anxiety, because it's about getting those 2 things. As much as I've shuffled the cards, guess what 2 cards came out? The mystery and the eagle, right? So getting the bigger vision through this journey of letting go. It doesn't mean, remember that when a snake sheds its skin, the snake doesn't change who it is. The snake is still the snake. It's just shedding its skin so it can grow and change into what it's meant to be. So believing in that process of shedding your snake skin, right? The letting go, the mystery will be relieved when you get the bigger vision. But it's trusting that instinct that you have, that new intuitiveness that's coming to you. Okay? Hi, Jessica. Thank you for being here. You would like one. Okay, so it was... So, Jessica, you're next. Okay, put the intention out there. And the cards are actually connected, so... Okay, this is one's for Jessica. Woo! I guess, Jessica, they were really wanting to talk to you, weren't they? Okay. Okay, so what did you get? You got the Merlin card. Okay, so you've been getting the Merlin card. So that one popped out first. So let the magic happen for you, Jessica. You are coming into a lot of understandings because you're coming through the birth to rebirth process. And remember, what I've been talking about is that hyphen in the 8, or in between, the hyphen that's in between the birth to rebirth process. That's the dot in the middle of the 8. So the old self has done a lot of work, Jessica. You've done a lot of work. That old self has gotten through a lot of story, right? To get you to the now self, which is pretty magical. the hyphen, because you're trusting your instincts more and more and more, and that's a blessing. So let the magic that you are support your new understandings that you're going to be getting, because a cat understands all senses around him, right? For that birth to rebirth process that you're in. Okay, I hope that helps. So with that, thank you all for being here. Remember, I'm Natasha Venter. I am here for you to assist you. If you want more of a personal negotiations, personal understanding of what you're going through, how I can personally help you, that's what I'm here for. And I would love to assist you in your life's journey. Please watch me every Wednesday at 4 o'clock. I'm doing a lot of please like and follow. If you know somebody who can use this show for their support, please share it. Please be you, and remembering that no matter where you're at and what you're doing, we all go through something so that we can experience who we're supposed to and greater be. And remembering, even if a stone that you're walking down the street and you see a stone and you pick it up, sometimes those are just as magical. Like I picked up a big stone. It was a big rock. And it was in the middle of our driveway. And it said, "Can you pick me up? I'm tired of driving. I'm tired of being run over." So it's been in my car and he's been loving to travel. I've tried taking him out a couple times. He's like, "No, I like to travel. I'm not seeing where I'm going, but I love the feel of the road." Right? You're more than welcome, Kim. As always, amazing. You have no idea how happy that I am that you channel. I'm so grateful that you are here too. And Adam is listening and says hi. Hi, Adam. I am so grateful. And I'm hoping that all that moments that we had together has been so helpful for you, Adam, in believing in who you are, because you, oh my gosh, what a gift you have of understanding your intuition. And it's just finding out that your body and you can walk that path. So, Adam, thank you for being you. Thank you, Jessica, for trusting me as you have over the years. And thank you, everyone, for being here. You're amazing. And you're the miracle who's walking your own path. So remember, walk through that anxiety, walk through that self-sabotage, because even if it takes you 10 minutes to do something, it's 10 minutes that lead you to that success for your now self to help your future self. Blessing be. I'm Natasha Venter, intuitiveclarifications.com, loving to assist you.